not everything's going to go your way.
Well, it's like you were saying, it's a living organism.
And
it makes changes that you don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of times I think the changes end up, I don't know, I think they end up working, you know, or you have an actor, like, what happened to us when we were doing Stage Fright, Chris, who we love, he's been in a lot of our stuff, well, he was our main bad guy, so we shoot the opening stuff, with him, beard, like your beard, like full beard, right? Shoot his stuff, he comes back a couple weeks later, he's like, hey guys, so he calls. He calls and he says, so I have a job interview. I have to go to this job interview. Like, I have to get this job. I can't have a beard. That's like in their rules and regulations type situation. So we're like, okay. And, like, Babette and Jason are like, yeah, it wasn't a big beard. I'm like, guys, why am I the only one remembering this correctly? It was, like manly man's beard. Like, it was a beard. He comes to set, and it's like...
Did you just say you were manly?
There you go. That's
like,
right.
He comes to set, nothing. So we're, like, freaking out. We're like, we can't reshoot that stuff because we only have this place for so long, bada, bada, bada. We'd already lost the other location. Couldn't get back there to reshoot his original stuff. So we're like, okay, what's scary? So we get, like, because we were at the Van de Voort, and we're like, hey, do you have anything? Gave us a sack. Like, Mike Strain, like, messed with the sack and, like, made eye holes. And so at one point, you see him, like, put on this sack where you don't see his face. Blessing in disguise, because the next night he had gotten sick, couldn't come to set. So we literally put a stand-in in his clothes, put the sack over his face, and had him do, like, so at the end of Stage Fright, when you're seeing him give his big speech to everybody, just some random extra that we had that day that fit in his clothes. So the fact that he shaved that beard, like, we would have been screwed, because that was our last night at that place. Like, so the fact that he had to shave his beard and we had to put a burlap sack over his face, like, ended up working out for the best. So usually just roll with the punches.
Of course, having filmmakers around is awesome. But I have a question for you guys. I have this list, and this list has become a living organism stuff, and it's changed since you've all gotten here. And I'm going to start with you, Josiah. Okay. Say Josh Whedon had decided to join us today, and you got to ask him a question. What would it have been?
I have too many for Joss Whedon. I thought I was going to get to do James Gunn, because I already prepared one for James Gunn.
Do you just want 24 hours with them at least?
Yeah, like
I'm kind of being a jerk on purpose here.
You're talking about Joss Whedon sitting down. I'm talking about Joss Whedon tied in my basement for a couple of days.
Right?
I mean, he'll have it's fine. He'll have a notebook. Yes, we're all invited. We all get to say, we'll feed him. It'll be humane.
By the time he's done, it's going to be Stockholm. He's going to be like, I like these guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here.
Like, you sure you don't want to do our next project?
Yeah.
Sounds very Breaking Bad-ish.
I think he's going to like this. Josh, if you're out there, hey, we're open down here in Missouri.
So your question is going to be, do you have good legal representation?
Honestly, I think my question to him would have to be, what are the keys to directing, what are the keys to making your full cast so fleshed out and full in a limited time? Because look at, again, Firefly, or any show that he's done, or movie that has a limited runtime, and yet you have this whole cast of characters, not just 3 main characters, and they're all fleshed out, they're all have their own storylines going on, and that's a really hard thing to accomplish in a short amount of time and in a cohesive way.
I have lots of questions I'd ask him too. Yours is way better, but being a Buffy fan and from a writing standpoint,
I have a different director for you, young lady.
That's okay. I don't think so, because this is true. Because, like, I wonder this about a lot of people that are showrunners. Because, I mean, he's a showrunner on Buffy. Mm-hmm. He's a showrunner on a lot of the things that he does, obviously. But I mean, I personally, and he writes. Most of Buffy was written by him. But, like, I would want to know, because if you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it, obviously people die in it. He's Joss Whedon. He does kill people. That's what he does. Because he believes you can't keep your audience happy because they become, well, I don't want to watch this anymore. Because once you make them too happy, they don't like it.
And
but
absolutely correct.
Well, and he's great at it. But I would ask him from a storytelling standpoint, is there any character in Buffy that he either killed or cut their storyline short or anything like that he either regrets or wishes he could have done a different way. Like, I would love to know if there was anything.
Nathan more personally.
Yeah, I would too.
Like you watch the show, dude. It would be Oz, probably.
Yeah, that wasn't his.
True. That's what I mean. It was beyond his control, and that was a
Seth
great
Green.
character.
I was going to say that, actually, because I just read an article about that.
Yeah, and Seth Green, props to him, because he was super cool, because he did the beginning of the season, and he agreed to come. I mean, since he liked Joss Whedon so much, he agreed to come back mid-season of 4 to do that. But I mean, I'm just kind of curious if there was anybody that he had killed or
because I think what you were talking about was just any of the main characters. Nathan was just a guest star, and it was to fulfill.
I don't think he was a great character
off the top of his head, but it was because Firefly had.
During the show, I thought that he could have done an entire season of just him.
Dude,
just that character.
That's what Firefly was for, and it was to pay him back for that. He ended up using 3 of the cast members in different shows at that time because he liked working with them so much. So, yeah, I mean, Nathan's always cool, but I mean, I think you were thinking more along the lines.
Yeah, well, like
right.
I mean, like
the
mayor or bad guys. There's a lot of bad guys
mayor,
that it's
the
like.
mayor was great, but he had to go.
Well,
so, Helena, I have your director has changed 5 times since you sat down, but I know somebody that I absolutely love, and I love everything he's getting ready to do and everything he has done. Quentin Tarantino, if he sat down. Don't hurt me just because I picked it, okay?
No, I love Quentin Tarantino.
If Quentin was sitting here, what would be your question?
Ooh, that's hard. I love Quentin Tarantino. I don't know. I don't even know if I would ask him. Well, I guess.
Would you fangirl out on Quentin?
Which would be
very cool.
I mean, I guess it's a derivative of a question because he does have a lot of strong women in his.
Yes, he does.
In his films, and of course he has a foot fetish because if anybody notices, he has a shot of bare feet in every film.
I was about
to
say
seconds.
you would just flip your shoes off and like tap them on the table, and then you could ask him anything you
Film
want.
me.
And he would be fine. He would answer any question.
Right?
Just flip your shoes up, prop them up there.
But,
there you go, buddy.
I'd probably be like, "What? Why did you decide to do that?" Because it is his genre is male dominated. Obviously, you see that with Reservoir Dogs and things like that, and it's very bloody. So why are you choosing to have stronger women characters?
That'd be
This
cool.
is why I invited you in the first place.
Man, he's just I like his visuals a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
How you doing?
No, I'm good. Why? Doing wonderful.
Christopher Nolan.
Okay, you want me to be honest?
Honest.
Throw it out there. Why did you do The Dark Knight Rises?
Thank you. That was going to be my question. That was going to be my question.
I'd just be like, dude, I get it. Like, don't tell me in an interview that you had this great big plan and the Joker was going to be throughout. And then Heath Ledger, again, R.I.P., great talent. Like, he passes away tragically. And then you say, oh, yeah, from the beginning, we are doing it this way. Lies. You just recently said you weren't.
Damn, them's fighting words.
No, I mean, I am so beyond disappointed with that movie. It was something that me and Brazier had talked about like a year before. It's like, we think it's going to go this, and this way. And it's like, there's no way, even being a writer, a comic book fan, television, film, whatever, even being a big a fan of that stuff that I am, I should not be able to sit down a year before, see one trailer a year before, and tell you exactly like the main points of this film. There's no way that should happen with somebody that gave us The Dark Knight. You know what I mean? Like,
see, my question would be actually what went wrong with that, not why did you take it? Because I understand why he took it, looking at all of the different factors, not the least of which being Heath Ledger's death. But what went wrong? What changed between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises other than Heath Ledger died? Because how many other people have coped with that? And I mean, it wasn't like they were producing back to back. He had time. They had time to recover.
You had time to come up with a story. Yeah.
And what went wrong, and where did that passion just die?
Yeah, and that's what it felt like.
Probably
It
off
felt
to make whatever the Interstellar.
Interstellar was very good. Though.
I hate Interstellar.
I won't watch
that movie.
I won't watch it. So
you don't bother. You'll sit there for 3 hours, get Nolanism, which is Hans Zimmer music, really pretty talented actors spewing like pretty nothings and a bunch of story that just goes. And then at the end you're going, really? You're sending messages to your daughter in the dust in her bedroom? And then you walk out wishing that you'd done something else with your life, like drink yourself to death.
See, that's wow.
That was strong.
Don't get me started on gravity, man.
That's why I didn't watch it.
Bye, Keith.
But I agree, though. Like, I guess
filmmakers are
guess
passionate.
That would be a better question. Instead of just why. But you know what I mean? Like, why? It was one of those things that, like, he even said it with Bane too. You know, he said, I'm going to give everybody, because everybody groaned when they heard Bane, but he's like, but no, I'm going to give you the Bane that you deserve. You know, I'm going to give you the Bane that's the criminal mastermind, the smart guy who's not being controlled by a female. And it's like, what exactly happened?
Oh, yeah.
He is not a criminal mastermind. And when he's around her, he's like a whipped little puppy. You know, so it was
and
very,
I just seen it the other day.
it was very discouraging.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was like the whole entire, the only parts of that film that I enjoyed was, the Selena Kyle that we got. I thought they did a really good job. See, I thought Anne Hathaway did a good job, and I liked the fight scene between Bane and Batman.
Yeah,
I liked that.
The first one, the second one was abysmal.
Fight scene?
When he breaks his back. Like, I liked that. I liked that scene. This sounds bad. Do you know why I like that scene? I was so pissed off by that point in the movie that I was so glad to see Christian Bale get the crap kicked out of him by Bane. That's why I was so happy about that scene. But that is such a better way to say it, is what went wrong.
I just want to say really briefly that I also did how they could have fixed it on The Dark Knight Rises on my film review blog.
Not make it?
But I think that they could have changed some very, very little things, made it a great film, and the number one thing I said was kill Batman right then.
Yeah.
They had already set up a prodigy. They ended up handing over anyway. It would have made a ton more sense to kill him instead of having him go, oh, well, I'm never going to give up this thing,
again?
and then I'm going to become Batman, and then here, you go die and serve your city that I just don't care about anymore.
Yeah, and that was the problem
hot.
too, is because it's like you saw Batman, like, in Nolan's franchise. I don't know what he was thinking, but you saw Batman become Batman like 6 times.
Oh, I know.
It's like every movie. Oh, I'm going to become Batman again.
Keith.
Begins again.
Yeah.
Keith.
Exactly.
If Zack
Joe and Anthony Russo, along with Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder is actually who I got you.
Uh-huh.
I know how you feel about the Russos. That's why I picked Zack Snyder.
You didn't know how I felt about the Russos.
We've had lengthy discussion.
No, we haven't.
I love the Russos.
What was the number one reason? What was the number one reason? Our last conversation. What was the number one reason? That's right. You don't know. The Russo brothers and Zack Snyder, but I'll take Zack. Zack's fun in that he is the kind of comic book fan that, you can tell he's very opinionated, like all of us are. He comes at a project and he knows exactly what he wants to do with it. There's no taking him off of it. There's no changing his mind. Look, had I been a producer on Watchmen, I probably would have flaked a little bit if he had told me that he was wanting to take the entire comic book and actually turn it into a movie.
It's a long movie.
It is.
But director's cut is worse.
But here's the thing.
When he tells you, hey, we're going to see blue penis through the whole entire thing.
He meant it.
Yeah, and he was like, I wasn't kidding. We were really doing that.
But that's my thing. Every time you have a director that is committed like that, audiences, for the most part, just go, we don't want to see that. We don't want that. As a comic book fan, I've always wanted to see someone take a comic book and literally turn it into a movie. And that's what you had with Watchmen. It was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I have never seen that happen. And the only film that actually does a better job of taking its original material and turning it into a movie is Rosemary's Baby, only because the director had never adapted a film before, so he thought it meant literally that you transfer everything.
That's kind of cool.
Not necessarily a bad thought.
But that's the way you do it. And Zack has done it again with this movie, Batman versus Superman. And I gotta say, it takes balls to do that.
Dude, and I loved it. Like, I feel bad for Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I do.
Because I think in general, like like you said, he's very strong. He's very opinionated. He takes the source material and he says, this is what people liked. this is what I want to do. I want to do the source material, and I want to do it how it should be done. And
Yes.
I love that in so many of his films, like Watchmen, even though that is a phenomenal film, so many people don't like that movie.
Yeah, I know.
It's just insane.
I thought it was fine.
And
Yeah,
300.
it's insane.
300
Yeah.
another one.
I also have an opinion. I